That shit out of here. Peace, Stars. What's up? This is your boy Evru and got Jarrell here. What's good, Jarrell? What do you think about that intro?
Hey yo, I was about to say you see me jamming in the background, man. Why you always got some new snazzy shit every time I come up on here, man?
I've been sitting on that for a while. I think I played it one time, but I'm trying to fix it. And then plus like, what's the name? Evergreen gave me a beat too, so I'm trying to fix that into the whole thing too, man. So
Wait a minute. So you got that beat
yeah,
and you got an evergreen beat and you sitting on both of them?
sitting on both of them, man.
Why are you wilding like this? That's crazy.
Yo, can you show me your sweat rag? I know you just showed me
Yeah,
your
mine
sweat rag.
over
Show me
here,
your
bro.
sweat
Like,
rag.
yeah, we
Okay,
fat
that's
and
the
old
reason
over
why.
here, bro. Like we
'Cause
rushing trying to get the show. Hey yo, salute to Steph.
hey, yeah, what's up, Steph? What's good, Steph? We got Marvin here too. What's good, my
Yeah,
guy
salute,
Marvin?
Marvin. What up? What up?
I haven't seen Marvin in a minute, man.
Ah man, yo, when you have two family men trying to rush to 7 o'clock with a job and a significant other and kids and stuff, man, we both just hot, fat, and sweating right now trying to get this show together.
Yeah. But we're gonna get it together though, man. So
Yeah,
this is
man,
like an
we be cool.
off-topic podcast. The first couple podcasts we was doing football and stuff. We had Lee Valentine. Lee still might pop in a little bit later. But we just kind of just like talking about everything but the Knicks on this little segment here. But today we're gonna get back on topic, I guess, right?
Right.
Yeah, man. So one thing I want to talk about, I want to talk about errors, man. So right on cue, we got Gobert and Shaq. What do you think about what Gobert? What do you think about what Shaq said first, and then what Gobert said after? Did you hear about it?
Nah, what happened?
Well, they were talking, talking shit about, centers and stuff like that. And Shaq said that Gerber couldn't guard him, and then Goldberg,
Okay.
goes right, onto the internet, and he says that he will lock Shaq up. So
Come
it's like,
on, fam.
it's a tale of errors, man.
See, that's
So
what he's supposed to do, though. I mean, he's the current player, so I mean, obviously, we're not gonna know what's right, but I mean, we all old enough to know. We all remember Shaq, right? Like Shaq isn't old enough. Like this ain't Wilt. Like I saw Shaq and he would kill Rudy Gobert. I didn't even know that was going on, man. I was out the loop today.
yeah, they was talking on the, how guys talk shit on the internet, man. So I
Right.
think it started on I think like the NBA on TNT, whatever, they were talking shit, and then Gerber just happened to comment on the thing. So one
Hmm.
thing about it, like I don't get it, because I mean, even young people now that they talk about the 1900s. Yo, back in the 1900s, it's like damn, son, it's like that was only like 20
1900.
years ago. But they have every right to say that, because a lot of people that talk shit now, they were born in 2001,
Right.
freaking 1998 and stuff like that. They're in their 20s, 30s now. So they
Right.
can kind of talk that way, but I don't really like that, man. But I mean,
I mean,
like
the only
like
reason you don't like that because you old too.
yeah. I mean,
You
but it's not like we're talking about Bob Cousy and those guys. These this
Yeah,
is like
but you
just
got
the
to
next
think
era,
about when we grew up. We talk shit about Bob Cousy.
right?
Like, you got to think
But I
about
got
it.
respect for Bob Cousy. That era and stuff like that. I never talk shit about Bob Cousy.
Yeah, that's true. But when we grew up, we know Bob Cousy wasn't checking Stephon Marbury, bro. Like we, like
Yeah,
what we talking about? Like, can you imagine Allen Iverson just dropped off in the '60s? Bob Cousy would have no ankles, no legs, no feet, no nothing.
yeah.
But
People
you know,
be
that's just the era. That's just old people talk. That's what we're supposed to do. We big up our own era. That's what we do.
right, but it would be like Pistol Pete, in a way. Pistol Pete was kind of ahead of his time and stuff like that. But I
Right.
mean, these guys, Shaq and Embiid, people act like Embiid is like, like I just don't get it. Like, because I mean, if you watch the videotape, the style of play, the athleticism is very
Hmm.
similar. It's not like
Right.
only Kobe was jumping out the gym, only Jordan was jumping out the gym. Everybody was jumping out the gym during that era.
Right. Like if they want to talk about like maybe athleticism and stuff, they got to go. Being more athletic, they have to go further back than our era.
Right.
They got to go back like to the maybe early '70s, '60s, and '50s. Like everything up to '80s up. I think depends on who it is. Like most of the best players in the '80s could play in the '90s and the 2000s. They just grew up in
Absolutely.
a different era.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean that aggravates me. I mean, because I sometimes I try not to do it. I'm trying to stay off of Twitter. I'm trying to stay off of Instagram stuff.
Yeah,
But as soon as you click those comments,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't even know you. I didn't even know that happened. Like I tried to get off Twitter completely today. I was too busy and just wasn't in the mood for it.
yeah, yeah, that's the thing with errors too. When I was younger, I used to talk my shit too, but it was just a different. It was like a different thing, like respect. It was a respect thing, even with like music and stuff like that. Guys they talk about like, oh, the other stuff is old, but like Myth the Man, did Myth the Man drop an album recently?
Yeah, he dropped it on Friday, and it's dope too.
Right. Yeah, yeah. You guys were talking about it on your pod, right?
Yep, it's dope. He actually dropped like a whole album, 12 songs, and it was actually fire for, not for Method Man. It was fire, period. It was a pretty good album.
Right. But he's 50 years old. But of course, that this era too. That they, like I said, they was only born like 98 and stuff like that. So they look at
Right.
Method Man as like a fossil, but Method Man is still nice.
Right. Exactly. He actually
It's
raps the same as he did when he was younger. Like he sounds exactly the same cadence. Bars are still crisp. It's still Method Man. Like he didn't change at all. He's not one of those rappers that got old.
right.
He
If
just
anything, he got better.
But right, if anything, he got better. He might have just fell off like in the limelight when it comes to stuff like that. Like he's not popular, but he's still Method Man.
Right. So I like to compare Method Man to say like Kendrick Lamar because he dropped another joint,
Hmm.
today like a political kind of thing, like a social joint.
Right, and Kendrick is actually my favorite artist, especially like when it comes to like the new cats. I'm old too, so like my favorite artists is like Biggie, Jay-Z, and stuff like that. But for the newer acts, like yeah, Kendrick is my dude, and I've been waiting for what 3 years now, so I'm ready for this album. It actually drops on Friday.
Yeah. So I mean, a guy like Kendrick, if you can appreciate Kendrick's music in this
Hmm.
era, then you could look at Method Man and still see the same thing, but it's the age thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, everyone wants to big up their era, their age. A lot of ageisms on both sides of the
Right.
plate there.
I've been trying to tell people all the time, especially people like our age, that some of the new music is actually still dope. And then some of the younger cats that I listen to, I'll be like, yo, have you ever listened to The Infamous before? They be like, no, what's that?
Right.
Like, are you serious? You never heard of Mobb Deep? And like they don't go back because like we don't realize how young they are. They're not really supposed to go back. That's just like telling everybody that grew up in the 80s that they go back to like the late 60s.
But
Like
I
it's
could
really
though.
that much of a difference. We just
Yeah,
don't
but
realize it.
I could though. Can't you go back to the 60s?
Well, yeah, I can, but everybody not like that though.
Yeah, I feel like everybody I grew up with was like that.
Really? Nah.
Yeah,
Some people I know, they know, don't know anything about like Motown and stuff like that.
yeah. That's a shame, man. But even like if in a West Indian like household and stuff, like this
Hmm.
new dance hall, I can't deal with it. But I grew up around a lot of trainees and stuff, so
Hmm.
they look at it now, the dance hall and the freaking like the soca music and stuff is just different,
Hmm.
But at least you can remember back at the time when the soca used to be good, back in the
Right.
'80s and then the freaking '90s, the soca was incredible. You still
Right.
playing the same music and stuff now, so you
Now,
can kind of appreciate. It's kind of like the same thing. You kind of could appreciate what was going on in the past, and know the
right.
difference between the bullshit that's happening now.
Now, a lot of people are, you know, in our culture don't realize how big Spanish music is now.
Right.
Like Bad Bunny, there's a dude named Bad Bunny. He's like the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah.
But not to us. We don't know anything about him. He doesn't even sing in English or rap in English or whatever. But he's bigger than Drake. He's bigger than Kendrick. He just dropped a surprise album and did like crazy numbers in the first week.
Yeah.
But we just won't know it because that's not our type of music. But there's people out there that, regardless of what area you come from and what type of culture you claim, there's music out there for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. But I think everybody fuck with reggaeton, man. I think all around the world, everybody fucks with reggaeton. Even
Yeah.
even back in the days,
Yeah.
there is an original though.
Salute the chef and NYK. He said Bad Bunny is lit. See,
Yeah,
some people actually, some people actually down with it, man. It's cool.
yeah. I like him too, man. But I ain't bumping that shit in my car. I know that
Oh
shit.
no, see, I ain't gonna front. He the man. He just not the man for me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going. I can't listen to Bad Bunny. Like I listen to a lot of crazy stuff, but not. I can't get into stuff that I can't understand. Like the music is dope, the melodies is dope, but since I can't understand what he's actually saying, I can't really get into it. Unless I'm in
yeah.
a club or something, and I'm never in a club, so I'm good.
I'm embarrassed because my whole name is Spanish, but I don't speak a lick of, lick of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like like it's a joke. They say like third generations. They're the ones that don't speak nothing, man. So I'm
Exactly.
like basically third generation. I don't
Word.
speak shit.
I know a lot of. Matter of fact, most of my friends that I grew up with that was Hispanic, they none of them knew English. I mean, none of them knew Spanish. They knew a little bit, but I was getting better grades in Spanish class than they were. Like I knew full blood Puerto Ricans that got F's in Spanish. They didn't know what the hell they was doing. They didn't know Spanish at all. They just
Yeah.
never learned the language.
Well, yo, my man Chef New York City's from South Florida, so a lot of South Florida there's a lot of Cubans now.
Right. Exactly.
Cubans, but like they don't know. Well, especially back in the days, they didn't know shit about Puerto Ricans. They come
Right.
up here, they're like, "What the fuck is a Puerto Rican?" Up here too, like, "You from Cuba? Really? They got people from Cuba in here?"
Exactly.
It's just a culture thing. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
South Florida. I know Bad Bunny is huge down there. Got to be.
yeah, Absolutely. Who's this? You guys mess with Stove God Cooks? You know who that is?
I actually do. That's my guy. Like I love Stove God. Yo, he dope. See, we're gonna have this a music podcast. I'm used to this. I know pretty much everybody. Eru's the one that's gonna be surprised.
Yeah,
You
I'm
never heard of
surprised,
Stove
man.
God Cooks?
I never heard of that motherfucker. I'm gonna write it down right now. Stove God Cooks.
Yo, you gotta see. That's the thing. It's just people have to be educated on these artists, especially from the era that we from.
Right,
Stove God Cooks. You know how Pusha T everybody talk about. He just talk about crack all the time, right? Cocaine,
right,
whatever.
right.
Stove God Cooks is basically the new generation of that. Like all he talks about is that.
What he talks about is coke.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, his name is Stove God Cooks. Like it's like his name is that for a reason. That's my guy, yo.
That's like old dirty bastard and shit. Like yo,
Pretty much. And he acted like an old dirty bastard, even though he was
right,
young.
right.
Yeah, Stove God, my guy, yo. I like him.
Okay. So I mean, is it like, and I mean, like even this guy, Pusha T, whatever. He talks about coke and stuff like that, but you can kind of like get it.
Hmm.
You can kind of like listen to what he's saying and kind of get a vibe off it.
Hmm.
Apply it to something. Can you apply his music to anything?
Yeah, Stove God is like that because Stove God he kind of raps on like older sounding music,
Okay,
especially with the samples that he use. But rapping wise, he's not like Pusha T rapping wise. Pusha's a better lyricist, but you would definitely get it. He's just maybe a more new school when it comes to the like the just the harmonization and the melodies that he
yeah,
uses. But he definitely raps though, like he's a rapper.
okay. So that's what it is too. Most of it now is just a vibe. Everything is a vibe.
Hmm.
Even just to bring it back to basketball, even like say like a Gobert and Embiid, people just like the vibe just happening now, the 3-point shooting and things of that nature, man. So
Hmm.
like the whole old school, which is the defense and all the grind that out type of stuff, that's something that we kind of like vibe with. So it's like their vibe now. That's why they really can't fuck with us, or they don't give like the old school their credit.
Right now, the big thing was Embiid lost MVP today.
Right. What do
So
you think about
everybody,
that?
well, I live in Pennsylvania, so everybody around me is hot. Everybody around me pissed off, and I keep on telling everybody that I think they both deserved it. I wouldn't have been mad at either one of them, and I think Giannis probably should have got some votes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like the main argument, like mostly on Twitter and stuff. Like Josh, he was in the group chat we
Hmm.
had today. Josh from that's Uncle Fulio. That's the guy from the controversy on MBK.
Hmm.
We were
Salute to
arguing.
Josh.
Yeah, salute to Josh, man. We was arguing in the group chat and stuff. So he was going crazy about the whole argument with Embiid, man. So I get Embiid. He has the stats: 30 points a game, what like 10 rebounds, I think, and whatever how many percent from three. I think 39% from three, something like that.
Hmm.
But I mean, Joker's is averaging like 27. I forgot how many rebounds, but I think he's averaging more rebounds than Embiid
Right, and more assists.
and more assists. So how do you gauge both of those two guys? What's
And
your opinion on that?
and just the way that he took his team, like don't get me wrong, I think Philly got some good players, and especially even before they traded for Harden, I like Curry and who else they Drummond. They got rid of Drummond. Embiid had some players to actually play with for the most part. I'm glad he actually got healthy and actually played for the most of the year. Jokic, like who was he playing with this year?
Aaron Gordon.
And that's it. Like if Aaron Gordon is my secondary player, I'm slitting my wrist if Aaron Gordon is my secondary player. I would have asked for a trade if I was Jokic, because Murray was hurt all year. Like who is their starting like wings? They still got like Will Barton. They still pushing Will Barton out there,
Yo, Will Barton was the second leading scorer, I think.
right? So Will Barton been playing since when? Like I don't know. Yeah, I just give it up to Jokic just because of how good he was, and he just took his team not further, obviously, but he took that team had no business making the playoffs if he wasn't on that.
Yeah.
It's not like Memphis where was all those games Ja missed for Memphis. They won most of their games. You take the Joker off Denver, they're a lottery team, easy.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's their point guard, he's their center, he's their power forward. He's
Right.
everybody all in one. He's doing everything.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
But but
two of their best perimeter guys, the point guard and the small forward, they both out.
right,
You know?
exactly. And they're both very, very good players. Like if they was there, I actually think they'd still be playing. They'll be a top 3 seed in the West, I think,
Yeah.
if Murray and Porter was playing. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't have if Embiid would have won though. I wouldn't have been upset either, But
Right.
I'm not upset that he didn't win just because the guy who won, he deserved it also. Like two things could be right at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to give credit to guys like Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris averaged 20 points in this league, a couple times.
Right, right,
And this kid, Maxi, he's starting to elevate himself. I mean, I don't know how much he's averaging in the playoffs, but it's got to be averaging like 20 something in the playoffs now.
right. He's killing.
Yeah, he's killing. So I mean, they're playing with and put freaking Harden. Harden is averaging 20, 10, and 7 still. Even though people saying that he lost a step or whatever's going on, he's still giving you almost a triple double,
I'm
20
about to
points.
say he looked good last night in the fourth.
Yeah,
They couldn't guard him, so like, don't get me wrong, Harden did lose a step, but he's still somebody out there that Embiid doesn't have to worry about. He can just give Harden the ball and just get out of the way sometimes.
yeah.
The Joker can't do that at all, man. Like he got Bones Nyland out there, like the rookie point guard, and like you said, Aaron Gordon and Will Barton. Like I don't want to argue about like when it comes to like teammates and what they do for the team. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, I gotta like Google to find out who the hell he played with this shit, man.
Yeah, I
It's like,
told you like only reason I know Bones Nyland because that's like a rookie point guard that I liked in the draft.
oh,
That's
he
the
was
only
on my
reason I know
fantasy
his.
team too.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know his name, and he's actually pretty good. But he's still a rookie. Like he's not killing like that.
Well, their number 4 scorer was Monte Morris.
See,
He had 12 points per game.
stop it.
Jeff Green was also a starter for them.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
I forgot Jeff Green was over there. Right, right.
Yeah, he
See,
was
nah,
starting for them.
see, nah,
He started
nah.
63 games for them this year.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's no argument when it come to that. It's just you can argue with the stats and stuff. And obviously Philly had a good year, but I don't know. As long as they didn't do co-MVPs, they got to pick one. As long as you pick one, I'm good.
Yeah, definitely about that.
And we got to stop acting like we really care about this anyway.
Yeah, fuck these
Don't
guys,
nobody
man.
care about
You know?
nobody care about the MVP award anymore, man. This ain't the '90s, man.
Yeah.
Don't nobody care.
Even the coach of the year, this guy won it again. Monty, well, he should have won it last year, but Tibbs stole it from him.
Tibbs stole it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I didn't have a problem with that. Tibbs was our guy, so I didn't care. But if Tibbs would have lost, I wouldn't have been mad that
Right.
Monty Williams would have won. He deserved it last year too.
Yeah. Well, last year, Tibbs took us from the garbage allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But we all know that it was the whole
Right,
bubble, the bubble
right, right,
factor.
right, right. See, I don't
Julius
even want to
Randle.
get into that, man. We gonna
Yeah.
start talking about the almighty four seed.
but
Salute the
you,
state.
yeah, salute the state, man. You can get your hoodies and shit. All you got to do is hit
Right.
him up in the DMs. He'll be able to,
Salute the state.
yeah, slide you over a little hoodie and shit. Yeah, man. So what do you think about so what do you think about the whole Kendrick Lamar song that just came out?
The one with if you actually watch the video, the change in faces and his lyrics actually switch the point of view of the faces that he changes into. I thought it was pretty dope. I'm going to go as far as to say it's genius or anything like that, but and we've seen the changing of the faces in videos and stuff before. But I thought it was really pretty dope. And this song probably won't even be on the album though.
Right.
Every time he drops an album, he drops a song called The Heart, and this is part 5. This is his 5th album.
Okay. You see how out of tune I am with shit, man. I didn't know that. I know it said
Really?
part 5, but like why? I'm like, why is it
Right.
part 5? But then I was like, fuck it, I don't care. I got
Right.
something else to
Every
listen
time he drops an album, he drops a single called The Heart, basically like the tone of where he's at right now. And then he puts the album out.
to. Okay.
Like The Heart is like it's part 5, but none of them are on any of the albums. I don't think.
So what do you think? He has like a plan, like at the end he'll put it all together on one album, the Heart album.
I mean, I got them all on like a playlist or whatever, just off the strength. But yeah, I hope so. Like we'll see. Like I know Kendrick is young, so he could keep doing this for like another 10, 15 years because he's so good.
Yeah. So what about Future? You was talking about that last part. You think Future can keep doing that same shit for the next couple of years?
Right, he can still be doing it too. I'm just, me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Future. I just respect what he means to this era of hip hop, if that makes sense. Like, there's a whole lot of baby Futures out there that you hear him on the radio. Yeah, that was Future 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I respect him when it comes to stuff like that. I'm just not the biggest fan of his music. Like he dropped the album a couple weeks ago too. It's pretty good. I for stuff like that, I usually just take a couple songs, put it on a playlist, and just leave it alone. I'm
Yeah.
not banging a whole Future album. No,
I cannot click it. I
click
tried to
it.
click it, man. I was gonna click it on the way here.
Click that shit, man. You got to click it. Just click it.
I can't do it, man.
Because if anything, right? So, okay, we're not listening to Future because of his lyrics. Let's just throw that out the way. Just to get your shoulders moving. If you go to the gym, if you work out, if you're going out running, put Future on. Just click it and just, get your workout on and, put it on the shelf. Like that's what it's for us.
I mean, if I want to click something, I could do this. You know what I'm saying? I could get my shoulders pumping with that shit too. You know what I'm saying? So, and like a beat like that, I feel like he would
That's
come on
funny.
there and start going hum. Like
Right.
I
But
just
see,
can't get
you
with
got to think about it like, I don't know, he makes like club music. We're not in the clubs anymore. So that shit ain't for us, bro. It's just not.
who's in the clubs nowadays. The club scene ain't the same. You think? You think so?
I wouldn't know, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yo,
don't give a damn.
the last time I was in the club, man, that like we was in there, we got there, whatever, we in there, and then the DJ was talking over the music, and everybody
Yeah.
was kind of watching the DJ as he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's dancing, and if they were dancing, the dudes were dancing with each other, and then they kicked us out. They kicked us out, and then they had a line outside for more people to come in after,
Wait,
because
wait,
there
would
was
they
another
kick you
party
out?
happening
Hold
in the
on
same
though.
spot
Hold on though. Would they kick you out for it?
because they had another party that was gonna come in. I couldn't believe that shit.
What kind of club you was in?
I don't know. I guess
You
that's how
was
they
on a
do it. Like,
cruise?
it's
What
like
was that?
everybody there was there to see the DJ. I never seen nothing like that before. To
Oh,
see the DJ,
okay.
the DJ wasn't mixing. All he was doing was talking. It was like watching like an episode of like Funk Master Flex back in the days. Just watching him talk, dropping bombs on thing, and then they kicked everybody out. Like one of the girls that we was with didn't even finish her drink. They was kicking her out with the drink in her hand.
For like another showing? Like it was
It was like a whole nother DJ was gonna come in there, and then they had a whole nother crowd that they always
uh
paying $25 again to come in the same spot that we
oh,
was in.
you must have went on a messed up day. I don't understand that. I never heard that before.
I don't know, man. Maybe somebody young could come on and let me know
How'd
about
you
that.
end up there?
Who knows, man? I
See,
can't remember how the hell we ended up in there.
see, yeah. I see. To me, I'm like, how do you end up there? But yeah, I wouldn't know. Like when it
But
comes to clubs and stuff, I don't do that no more. Like I'm good.
yeah, well, it was somebody they were bored, so let's go here. I heard this is popping, so we went there. But
Right.
like the whole
Never
scene was
listen
just
to him
different.
again.
Yeah, we were just the old cats up in the spot. We had no idea what the hell was happening in there.
See, nah. Whoever that was, he was just bored. Don't listen to him no more when you go out. Like salute to him, but yeah, we're not listening to you anymore, Reggie, or whatever your name is. Like,
How'd you know his name was Reggie? His
we're
name had
not
to be Reggie, right?
we're not listening to you anymore.
But it's the same vibe. Like all the topics that we've been talking about today is all the same type of thing. It's like you have to like be there. But like the one thing like this like connected all of it is just that I feel like our era didn't
Hmm.
communicate certain things to the next era. I feel like there's like a gap in between both eras. What do you think about that?
It's like that because like art imitates life. Like you gotta think about we come from our era is like the deadbeat dad era.
Yeah, these are the
Unfortunately.
crack babies.
Exactly. So it's kinda like the same thing. Like we once we got older in hip hop, we thought the young guys was competition and we treated it like that. So like that never stopped. And it's because of that. Like we treat everything as like competition.
Yeah,
Like the older cats with Jay Z with the Def Jam just threw all the rappers off
right,
and just signed Rihanna and Neo and stuff like that. A whole bunch of R&B acts. You got rid of like Ghostface, Method Man, Redman. Like it's because of competition. Like he was the only rapper on that label. Like he
right.
was just powerful enough to do that.
Yeah, and they
Not
didn't pull
saying
nobody up either.
right. Not saying that he's the reason why their careers fizzled off or anything, but like, I mean he was part of it.
Yeah. Well, Jay Z has state property. A couple other people
Hmm.
that had their own little peoples, but like even state property, he pulled them up, but state property pissed away every opportunity Jay Z
Right.
gave them too.
That was definitely their fault. Yes.
Right. So then right after that, you got what's that Meek Mills? After Meek Mills, what's going on in Philly? Nothing. You know.
Um, what's going on in Philly right now? Because I live like maybe 20, 25 minutes from Philly.
Right.
Right now it really is just Meek. Really, like it's no. At least I don't know that many up and coming rappers that actually got a buzz yet that we care about. Let's just say that. I mean,
It's a
there's
shame,
plenty
man.
of rappers just like any other city, but to create that type of buzz, Meek was the last one.
It's a shame because I mean, you can even talk about Black Thought. Black Thought is on the fucking Tonight Show now and shit. Like,
I'm
where
sorry.
are there people that bringing up, from that whole Roots crew?
See, look, this showing my age. I forgot one. Little Uzi. You
Little
know,
Uzi.
salute to Dwayne Blake and Chat. He just put it up there too. Little
Yeah,
Uzi's from Philly, but he's just not in our era, so I didn't think of him. But yeah, no disrespect to Little Uzi because his buzz is huge too. But
but
he's
you
just
got
not for
little.
us. That's all.
But look at Little Uzi. Look at the difference between Little Uzi. I said Black Thought. Black Thought.
Right, right, right. It's not the same.
What's this guy's name? The one in between.
Meek.
Yeah, Meek. You got freaking, like I said, Roots crew, Meek, and then
Right.
Uzi, Little Uzi Vert. Like,
Like
what
when you
the
get from the roots and yeah, yeah, yeah. Benny
fuck?
Siegel and stuff like that.
That's a
Yeah,
prime example. There's no connects. There's no connection.
right. Yeah,
Who's
it
teaching
went.
who?
Yeah, it went from like the street, the straight. What is Uzi? He's like punk rock rap. If
Yeah,
that makes
punk rap.
sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like a rock star in Philly.
What the hell is Meek?
Meek now, he was a street rapper, but he has turned into he's trying to get hits now. So I
Yeah,
don't even know if Meek know what he is. He's
yeah.
like in the transition right now.
Yeah, he's like Michael Jackson and shit. He never had a childhood and shit. The guy's doing backflips. You know what I'm saying? You see him doing backflips behind the stage in the NBA games and shit. That motherfucker is like the Michael Jackson of hip hop.
Hey man. Yeah, Meek's my guy though. He's cool. Like I'm not the biggest fan of his music, but I like him though. Like he's alright, he's cool.
Yeah,
Just stop saying stupid stuff on Twitter, that's all.
yeah. Stay off of Twitter altogether, man. I'm surprised he don't learn his lesson from that dumb shit.
Right, man.
Yeah, Drake got him.
Drake got him.
Yeah, Drake got him.
Since Drake got him, seemed like he should have been off, right? After
Yeah.
that. He's still on there.
Yo, what's up with Drake? Drake was climbing to some chick's DMs or what
Yeah, we
was up
talked
with that?
about that on the show too, man. Like he said something about Drake came out and said something about John Morant's father,
Right.
saying that how he wants to be like that, like when his kid grows up, like say if it's anything, it doesn't have to be basketball, he's gonna be there, rooting for his kid. Father should do that. So some cornball went in there and just thought he could say something about his son real quick. He said your son would just be playing with ghostwriters or something like that. Old joke from back in the day, him
Yeah.
using ghostwriters. So because of that, Drake just leapfrogged everybody else's positive comments and just went straight to his and said something about his wife, like I could tell your wife is miserable and not having fun or something.
Right.
Pretty much basically because you're corny enough to say something about my son under my comment like that after a positive message,
Right.
whatever. And it shows that Drake actually did DM his wife.
Oh my god.
Said, I'm here for you.
And then what'd she say? Did she respond back?
They didn't show that part. They didn't show that part what she said back. But she definitely, he definitely DM'd her. And this how corny the dude is though. The dude screenshots it and tells everybody that yeah, Drake is DMing my wife. Like he trying to get like some type of clout for that. Like they on TMZ now, sitting down doing interviews.
That's crazy, man.
Super crazy. I don't get it. Like this, and he don't even seem that young. Like he seemed like he might be in his 30s.
But that's what I'm trying to say. The disconnect with everything, man. Like what's wrong with these 30-year-olds, man? It's like 30 and younger. It's like
I,
what
I
like there's something happened between the 40-year-olds and the 30-year-olds right
I don't know, man. I just blame us. I don't
now.
know. Like I blame us or like maybe I don't know our dads and uncles and shit like that came before us. Like it definitely is a disconnect. It seemed like once you like anybody under 35, like they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
But when I was 35, I wasn't stupid though. I don't get it. Like I'm not that far from 35. Like we're not that far from 35.
Right.
Were you dumb 7 years ago?
I'm a dumb motherfucker right now, man. I can't
Oh,
remember what I did today or yesterday. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow.
that's a shame, Ebro. Come on, get it together, brother. You got to get it together, bro.
But I mean, just the context for for what we're saying, like we grew up, we probably was like the last era that played outside, did street games and that type of
Right.
thing,
I,
you
I,
know.
I think about my son like that all the time. I have a 9-year-old son, right? And he wants to go outside, play with his friends. We got a little neighborhood here. He goes outside. But he obviously can't go that far. Like he's right out front or whatever. When I was 9, I was in these streets. I had a key to
Come
the
here, bro.
crib when I was 9. Like
Yeah,
it was a completely different sandwich in like the mid '80s when I was like 9 years old, or like the late '80s. Like
we were
it was a
self-sufficient
completely
people.
different world. Yes,
Yeah.
my son act like he can't do nothing.
My son is 8 years old, man. When I was 8 years old, I was on the train with my little sister going to pick up my mom from work. Okay,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? What, like 8 years
Like
old with a freaking baby stroller?
I remember really being in these streets.
Yeah,
Like I was everywhere when I was that age. But now, no, we can't do that. Like everybody keep talking about, how it was more dangerous back then, but we were the one outside.
right.
There's
Every
just
era.
so many things. I don't know. Time has changed.
Well, I mean, like in the '70s too. Like, say my pops, oh, in the '70s we didn't do that. This and that. Yo, y'all had gangs in New York. There was
Yeah,
like gangs
exactly.
everywhere in New York. Used to walk around with switchblades and shit like that.
Right,
Tomahawks and
right.
all the other kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, and then, the trains were completely destroyed. Graffiti everywhere. So
Hmm.
it wasn't like like roses. Back in those days.
It was the same thing. Everybody just evolved. Like new weapons came out.
Right.
like, like your dad, people didn't have like a chopper in the hood. I seen one of those when I was like 19. You know what I'm saying? Like the times have just changed. That's all.
Right.
And plus,
Right.
we the type of people. I mean, I grew up in the hood, so you don't want to. If you can, try to take your family out of that once you grow up. So
Right.
me and my son would never grow up the same. Like I grew up in Brooklyn, I grew up in Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights. My son is in suburban Pennsylvania. Like me and him are not going to be the same type of people.
Yeah.
That's what you just have to live with. But you have to do that because you want them to live a better life.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, my kids too, man. My kids go to school with a bunch of like, immigrant Indian people and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like everybody's in the no disrespect, everybody's in there. Hello, good morning, like this, and my kids are like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm just joking, but growing up in East New York, Puerto Rican black, everybody was like struggling,
Mm-hmm.
that type of
Exactly.
thing. And just the images that we see in the just on TV and stuff. There were none. Just a lot of different factors out there that you just my kids don't know nothing about that.
Nah, me either.
Yeah,
Like my
my kids
kids
don't know
have
shit.
everything compared to what we had. Like my kids have everything: TVs, Nintendo Switches, and stuff like that. Like it's nothing. Games, it's like $60.
Yeah,
They don't care. They get whatever they want now, man. We did not grow up the same.
right. So do you think that affects sports the way these people are? Because you want to talk about like the trophy era. Everybody gets a
Hmm.
trophy, that type of thing. Same thing with just like basic stuff, like the way our kids are like not necessarily sheltered, but they just living a better life because we're providing for them now.
Well,
You know,
you gotta think about this. Like especially if you're an athlete, like you get paid now.
right?
Well, if I was in high school, I would have got paid coming out of high school. Yeah, it's way different. Well, don't get me wrong. Some of us was getting paid anyway. It's just a little different. It's like under the table, and it's more money now. Like they was talking about Arch Manning, who is Peyton Manning's nephew, Cooper Manning's son.
Right.
So he's like the number one high school recruit in the country right now. Like his NIL deal is like over $2 million.
Wow.
He hasn't graduated high school yet, but he still gets that money and still gets to, be the face of a company or have some type of advertisement and have a paycheck coming in high school, not even college yet.
Yeah.
It's a freshman coming in. I forgot his name, but he's going to play for Texas next season. He has a Lamborghini endorsement. How does that even happen? For the fact that you're in high school, you're a teenager, and you get a Lamborghini endorsement.
Yeah.
Like so, that alone changes everything. Like we couldn't do stuff like that before.
You
We
talking about
couldn't
that
do.
basketball player?
I think he plays. I thought he played football. I just know he goes to Texas. I forgot what sport he played,
Okay.
but I know.
There's a few athletes like that. There's another basketball player that I thought he was in college already. I thought
Hmm.
he dropped out of high school and then he went to college. No, he's been in high school this whole time, and like I think now he's eligible for. But matter of fact, I think he's still a junior in high school. I think. I'm trying
What?
to get the kid's name here, man. But it's
Wow.
the same thing. But I mean, he has like millions of YouTube followers. He got
Hmm.
freaking millions of Instagram. So he's getting paid off for Instagram or for YouTube and all
Yep.
these different places. All before he even played one professional game. He don't need to play professional.
It's a whole lot of money in sports now. Completely different. Like it's especially with college now. They have something called, I'm pretty sure everybody knows now, something called the transfer protocol or transfer portal. So that means you can actually transfer without taking a hit before you lose a year of eligibility if you transfer. You got to sit out a year.
Right.
You don't have to do that anymore. And because of that, and because you get paid now, say if I went to Florida State, say if I went to Florida State for 1 year, and Texas is offering me a bigger deal, I get to transfer from Florida State and go to Texas without any type of penalty.
Right.
So
That's what
stuff
Quinn Grimes did, right?
I,
Because Quinn Grimes was in Kansas, and then he went to I think what?
he didn't have to
That's
sit out at all.
nah.
I
He
forgot.
went right the next season. He was right playing with them.
That could be, yeah, it could be true. I forgot when they changed the rule, but it's definitely like that now with the NIL. It's different now. Like when it comes to money and stuff, that pretty much means anybody can recruit your players and bring them there for money. Like
Yeah.
it's not like an inconvenience. And with big boosters, when it comes to these schools, you think Alabama can't pay for a kid if they wanted to? They can pay for anybody.
Yeah.
Miami, Texas, USC, all the major programs, they will be able to get anybody they want to. Theoretically, it depends on if that kid wants to go, for money purposes. Not every kid is like that.
That's
Salute
crazy.
to Cully in the chat. Salute.
Yeah, it was good, Cully. Yeah, me and Cully be talking offline for like months. You
Word?
know what I'm saying? So I think we're gonna try to do something this week. I'm gonna hit Cully up. I got
Yeah, get
some.
him on the show, man.
Yeah, I got a couple things I want to do this week, man. So I'm gonna trying to keep the slate pumping.
Moving.
Something going on every day.
I see you've been enjoying your little vacation.
Yeah, I had to stay away, man. Just from the bullshit that I sometimes you watch stuff and you listen to stuff and just people tell you things offline and stuff, man. So it kind of like corrupts you a little bit. It's almost like I can't even describe it. It just kind of corrupts you. You just kind of like pull yourself out of the matrix one time, just to cleanse your mind from it.
I,
Because
I actually do that all the time. Sometimes I can go like days without a tweet or without looking at Twitter.
yeah,
Like I'm not attached to social media like that. Don't get me wrong. Or if I do, like I'll look at it real quick, just for like information purposes, and then get off. I'm not trying to argue with nobody or tweet at somebody or reply to stuff. I just look at something and then get off real quick.
yeah, it's hard to do, man. It's like you had your phone in your hand. Next thing you know, you're looking at it again. So you put it
Hmm.
away.
Right.
Next thing you know, looking at it again.
True.
That's it's like a sickness. So that sickness, especially with the toxicity, everyone's just addicted to making the next shocking thing, and then people go behind it, and they stock, they kind of like compound it. It's
Right.
like compounded bullshit,
Right.
all over
Exactly.
the place. No matter what it is, and it could be music, basketball, like
Hmm.
just with this whole Gobert thing. Those people in the comments say, yeah, man, he would have locked Shaq up. Shaq couldn't do this. He can't move laterally.
Word.
Yeah, like
Have you
really,
ever seen Shaq play?
it's like
Especially when
crazy.
he was younger. Shaq was nuts when he was younger with Orlando. Like he wasn't fat Shaq at that point. Like he was agile and strong and fast. Like he was an athlete when he was with Orlando when he first came in.
Yeah, he wasn't just a big guy slamming into dudes and spinning
Nope.
and bullying them. He was doing it with finesse.
Yep.
The
Shaq
stuff
was
that people,
running the floor. I remember Shaq running the floor thinking like, yo, why is he this big, this fast? It's crazy.
yeah, throwing alley oops to Penny, throwing alley oops to Kobe.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
yeah, and he wasn't taking advantage of like Chris Dudley all the time. Because that's the only thing you see him bullying Chris Dudley and shit like that. But he
Mm-hmm.
used to battle Patrick Ewing. He used to battle all
Mm-hmm.
these different centers. It was a
Yep.
different league. It was a big man's league. Every team had a center.
Yep.
So it was a war every night in that way. So
He
people just don't remember that.
he came in right when stuff was trying not transitioning, but all of the best big men in the league was pretty much in the league at that point.
Yeah.
But they were older than him, so he might have took advantage. Like he definitely took advantage of Patrick Ewing. Like
Well,
Pat was pretty much old by then.
but Ewing used to still give it to him though.
Yeah, he
Ewing was like
did.
in his late 30s. He still was giving it to
He
him.
did. But by then though, I'm saying like Pat was pretty much shooting like jumpers,
Yeah.
baseline stuff like that. He was killing them like with smarts. Like he knew the game. Like he wasn't banging down low with Shaq. Like he was, I don't know, Shaq was too young for that. Like when Shaq came in the league, he was a beast.
Yeah. Well, Shaq and Orlando.
Yeah,
You know, Shaq and Orlando versus Patrick Ewing, Knicks. You know, that was like the real head to head matchup where they used to really go banging with each other and
mm-hmm.
stuff like that
Yep.
during that era. So I mean, like when he finally got to the Lakers and he was winning those three piece, there really was no center at that point. You know,
No, like he was what he like two of the rings they had against the Nets. The center was like Todd McCullough, wasn't it?
yeah, Tom McCollum
The
and
Jason Kidd days.
yeah, and
Like they were
Collins.
built, yeah, Colin. Like they were built different. They was built from that, like the outside in. Like they had, Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
it was a little different with
even Mutombo. They played Mutombo for the first. I think it was the first one for the
yeah,
first
with
championship.
Philly, yeah,
Yeah. So I mean,
defensive
Mutombo.
player of the year. So Shaq had his ears pinned up, like he wanted to kill Mutombo that
Yeah,
series, and he did it. Like he made it a point to kill Mutombo because everybody was saying that how Mutombo will be able to control Shaq because he won defensive player of the year that year.
yeah. He was
Killed the
snapping that motherfucker like a twig every single
like
game
it
down
was
there.
so easy. Like it was everybody keep talking about like the matchup between Allen Iverson and Kobe, but that Shaq Mutombo matchup was supposed to be a thing and it wasn't. Like he killed
Yeah,
Mutombo every game.
he bend them every single time.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's a tale of errors and stuff, man. What else you got on your mind, Mister Jerome?
Not much, man. When it comes to the era stuff, it will always be like that though. Because you got to think about like take your dad for example. He watched ball obviously. What does he think of like Wilt and Kareem growing up? Like he probably don't think anybody could touch Wilt, and understandably.
Yeah, Kareem. Everybody in that era always say Kareem is the best player they ever seen.
Exactly. And coming from New York, like we heard the stories and stuff. Like to me, obviously everybody thinks not everybody, but a lot of people give Jordan as the best basketball player ever. If you from New York, a lot of people think Kareem is because we like there are stories of him growing up there, how dominant he was in high school, and he was dominant all the way throughout his career through high school, college, and the NBA.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was from New York until I got to high school. Until I started reading about him and shit like
Right,
that. I'm like, oh
like
shit, the motherfucker's from New York.
exactly. Like that, like I didn't know that either until like I started getting older and start becoming a teenager and start hearing the stories of him when he was in high school. Like
Yeah,
he was a monster. He didn't lose a game his whole career, like all 4 years of high school. That's nuts. And then he goes to UCLA and not lose a game then either.
right,
A game, not a season, not like didn't win the championship. He didn't lose a game.
right. So it's
Undefeated for like
comparable.
3 years is crazy in college. Like that
Yeah,
doesn't happen all the time. So when it comes to like the best basketball player of all time, I always put Kareem up there. Like he has an argument, even with Jordan. He has an argument against anybody.
right. That's the argument people say with LeBron because he came in young and he's been dominating for like
Hmm.
what 19 years in the NBA, however long he's been in there. So I mean,
Hmm.
like the people from this era, they hold that to their hearts. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be the only thing that nothing
Right,
ever happened before that.
right. But when you think about it, in the era that it makes sense
Yeah,
because they grew up watching him. They grew up since that young man came in when he was 18 years old and dominated throughout for like 20 straight years. Obviously he wasn't the best player in the league the whole time he was in there, especially when he was younger. But once he got it, he didn't let it go until like maybe what Kevin Durant a couple years ago,
right.
if that. And there's still argument if LeBron was better than him then. So if he's still going to arguably be the best or top five in the league, and he's been in the league for 20 years, that's saying something. Like he has to get his props too. I might not think he's the best because I saw stuff before him. To me,
Right,
he's not better than Michael Jordan. But
right.
for people that grew up watching LeBron and Michael Jordan, I can see how the lines will be blurred a little bit. Like he has an argument.
Yeah. So that's what it is. I mean, have the conversation. Don't just disregard stuff.
Right.
And then also too, like if an older person is speaking is just telling you from whatever, the older person's responsibility is to tell you or show you whatever. But
Exactly.
don't chastise a young person like the young person's an idiot. And that's
Hmm.
where the problem comes because then that starts the conflict.
I always like listening to older people talk, like Salute to Marvin, like when Marvin be calling in.
Yeah,
I could tell that you like listening to him talk too. Like we can listen to dudes like that talk for hours. Like
Yeah.
because I guess because I kind of grew up listening to older dudes talk like that. So
But what
especially
the
when it
young
comes to
people say?
sports,
What the young people say now though? Say, man, old man,
right?
shut your ass up,
Exactly.
OG. You know
You
what I'm
know what's
saying?
crazy? A lot of us, our age, used to do that too. But y'all not as smart as us
Right.
because we learned from the older dudes. It's plenty. I think in any generation, the younger dudes will say, "I get out of here, you old." Even people in our age,
Yeah.
but the people that actually listen to the older people, that's why we a little bit wiser when it come to our old age. Like in my fort, I'm 43 years old. I just turned 43. Like I've known or I know people my age that how am I trying to say it? I know people my age that seem like they don't get it.
Yeah.
Like even now, like people that I grew up with, or if I go like to my old like around where I went to high school and I see somebody that I grew up with, I haven't seen in like 20 years. They seem like they didn't get it, yo.
Yeah. It's still the same person.
Right? They didn't get it because they didn't listen to Marvin back in the day.
Word.
You know what I mean? So to speak. You know what I'm saying? They just don't listen to the older dudes take any type of advice or think they know everything. The people that think they know everything usually don't know anything at all.
Well, let me throw this at you. Big Daddy Kane, he was on what's the dude? Matt Hoffa. He was on Matt Hoffa show. I don't know if you saw it.
Know the show. I saw some of Big Daddy Kane interview, not the whole thing. Which part are you talking about?
Well, they were just talking about success and stuff like that. Big Daddy Kane was probably like one of the biggest artists of his era, but he didn't get the money for it. Right now these young kids, they come into the
Right.
game, they'll make one hit record. Don't even do shows. Don't even didn't put in the work. But they didn't not necessarily put in the work, but they didn't put in the work that Big Daddy Kane did. Like I said, they don't even have to do shows and anything, and these guys are making big time money. Not
Mm-hmm.
even being signed and stuff like that. So Big Daddy Kane, just like everybody there was just kind of just talking like these young guys think that they don't need to talk to the OGs. 'Cause listen, you guys are broke. I'm fucking rich. What you gonna tell me?
Right.
So like it's like the young guys kind of like superseded the OGs. The young guys can teach the OGs now. It's not like whatever the OG could tell the young guys, like they feel like they don't have to listen to it because they're already getting it, without them.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially now that I don't know. We talked about how younger kids are growing up slower because they're not outside. I think a lot of that depends on who you are because some of them are growing up faster because of money,
Yeah,
having YouTube channels. Uh, Athletes are actually have money or more famous than they usually would be because like you could be like 14 in high school, like a freshman in high school, and like you said, have like a million followers on YouTube. We
yeah,
couldn't do that, so I don't know. Like in terms of young people, a lot of them grow up slower than we did because they're not outside. But in terms of business, maybe they're a lot more mindful of business than we used to be
yeah,
because of stuff like that. I noticed that, especially when it comes to music, we was talking about music earlier. A lot of artists aren't signing stupid deals anymore because we signed the stupid deals. You know
yeah.
what I mean? At least I could tell that a lot of music artists learn from our mistakes, and a lot of sports athletes learn from our mistakes too. A lot of athletes don't go broke like they used to.
Yeah, they invest in
Right,
even street people. They're like buying real estate and shit like that. There's
right.
guys that I've talked to recently in the East New York, whatever. These guys are buying. They in the street still, but they
Yep.
they got freaking their what do you call it uh what's the shit called when you get your real they got their real estate license and
Mm-hmm.
shit. Like they're selling dope on one side, but then they're selling houses too on the other side too. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And one thing is washing the other, and that's something that people didn't really do back in the day so much. Now they're doing it. You know.
Yo, hold on. Salute to Paris, Doug. I want to answer a question real quick.
Mhm.
He put, is Henderson eligible for the draft? I don't think so. I think he won't be eligible until 2023 because he's too young. Even though he has a year in the G League, I think I think he ended up being the youngest G League player ever, and I still think he's too young to be eligible for the next until next year, not this year coming up.
So you got to get your working papers now to get into the G League. That's what's
Right.
happening.
Yeah, I don't know how he got in there. I forgot like the story, whatever. But he's so young. I don't think he'll be eligible this year. Like you still have to be like a year after your 18th birthday. You still got to be at least 19. and he like missed the cutoff or something.
But
So he's gonna have 2 years in the G League out of high school.
they didn't call him up. I could have sworn they called him up, but that was a different kid.
No, this has to be a different kid. They can't call him up. Like they can't like the the Ignite kids. They can't be called up. They
Right.
got to stay in the G League because they haven't. They was never eligible for the draft yet. So a
Okay.
team can't call them up. At
So
least
that's
to
when
my knowledge, I don't think.
yeah, that 2023 draft is gonna be retarded, man. Because that's the
Right.
year that all the high school and the colleges go all be mixed up.
Well, we better. We got like 4 second round picks. We was talking about it on Steph Show the other day with Sim. Like that, we have like the Knicks have, I think 4 second round picks in the 23 draft.
Wow.
1 first round pick and 4 second round picks. So we got 5 draft picks. We're obviously not going to draft 5 players. That's stupid.
Mhm.
But yeah, we have to do something with them.
Yeah.
Like we can't stash all of them. It's not like we're gonna pick our 1st round pick and then pick all like 4 European players and stash them all. Like we don't have. I don't know. We're not good enough to do that either.
Yeah. So that's what's messed up about a lot of the conversations too. Because people like even right now, I got Brunson on the what do you call the thumbnail?
Mm-hmm.
So people want so oh, let's get Brunson and something, but you don't know the business on how to get him because we can't sign him. And there's other players too, Donovan Mitchell and whoever else. Oh, just get this guy, get that guy. But there has to be a business transaction in order to do it. So I mean, we make these transactions, but then nobody wants to trade picks. Nobody wants to trade this. So where are all these people going? Like you said,
Right.
5 draft picks in
Right.
2023. So we're gonna get these guys, but we're not gonna give away no assets. Oh, how can we trade IQ? We can't not gonna do that, this, and the other. But then where are these guys going? We got 15, only a 15-man roster. Where did they go?
I don't know. For one, if we with the whole Brunson thing, saying we can't sign him, I think we can. We just have to do stuff. I don't know
Right.
what it is. I'm a firm believer in like even in football, basketball, any type of team sport. If a GM wants something to happen, they will find out a way. Like if it can happen, it will find a way to happen.
Right.
Like I remember everybody didn't think that Chris Bosh and LeBron James would be able to sign with Dwayne Wade in Miami because it's
Yeah.
never happened before. Like 2 major free agents signed like that for that much money. Like they
So
signed all 3 of them, and everybody else made little money, and they built off that. Like it can happen. Like we can sign Brunson. We just got to get some people out of here. I don't know how to do that, but I don't get paid to know how to do that. Like that's Leon Rose's job.
that's true. Well, Pat Riley completely like erased the whole roster.
Right.
He deleted everybody.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
like
just
we
enough to
can
get
be able
close to
to we should be able to do that same thing. We just have to do it in a strategic way. Like that's above my pay grade. I don't know how to do that.
yeah. Also, too, like the salary cap is going up. That's another thing too, because the money's just so crazy now in basketball and music, everything. The money's so crazy that people can do things that they just never done before. So I mean, the Knicks could delete players, and we could still have guys signed and still have room to get a Brunson in here, and then we still got draft picks and stuff.
Right.
So it's a lot of different things, a lot of movable parts with this whole thing.
That's why it's so hard to actually say what the Knicks are headed. Like we said this on Steph Show too. Whether do you want to be a team that's going to try to win but not good enough to win, or do you just want to build for the future and just add young pieces and do that? Like, it's a slippery slope, man. Like there's no right answer
Right.
because who wants to be mediocre for another 3 years? Like we just even if we did get to the playoffs, who wants to just lose in the first round for the next 3 years for the sake of I don't know, not not giving the young guys burn so they can develop properly.
Yeah, but at the same thing too, like most of our young guys, I like the youngest player that we have is 21 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and then like quote unquote another young guy is 23.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about first year guys, Jericho Sims, Quentin Grimes, all these guys. They're like 23 years old, 23, 22. So what happens like like in another 2 years if we're developing, and now they're 23, they're 25. They're
Right,
older
right,
players
right.
now. And they've been in the league for a while. So what do you do then? Because you're developing them, but now these guys are like they should have been developed at that point.
Yeah, that's true. And the biggest problem with that though, everybody wants us to play our young guys and have them develop. If they do develop properly, we remember I said anything can happen when it comes to the roster.
Right.
We would not be able to pay all of them though.
Right.
We already have to extend RJ. People want to keep Mitch. RJ and Cam came in the same draft, so his extension comes too.
Yeah,
Obi and IQ was in the same draft. Their extensions are going to be done at the same time.
yeah. Cam Reddish is there too.
Right. So like everybody extension is coming up and it's coming up fast. Within the next 2 years, how many people do you actually want to pay? Because you're not going to be able to pay all of them. You can't.
Right.
Not to an extension. Like we're not going to go from not having no rookies extended since Charlie Ward to four of them in 2 years. It's not going to happen. Somebody is going to have to go. You just have to figure out who you want to go
Right.
because somebody has to go. Like you, it's a pipe dream to think that we're going to be able to keep everybody. They're too young to keep because they're going to want an extension soon. Like they're not going to be making $1 million, $2 million anymore. Like
Right. And there's always another player too. Like if we're gonna make a trade to get Brunson or something like that, we might be able to get another player in the mix, whatever. So there's
right,
always somebody else coming. But people like to just, oh, no, we have this guy. This is the guy that who we have. Who else we gonna get? But if we make a trade, oh shit, we got another good player. Okay, so it's like the it's like a revolving door. Just with this draft, the Knicks are supposed to pick 11th, right?
mm-hmm,
So we could possibly be in the mix for guys like Shaden Sharp and Benedict Maturin, whatever his name is, Dyson Daniels, and this, that, and the other.
mm-hmm.
Are those guys better than Quentin Grimes? Because people seem to think Quentin Grimes should start. They want him to start over like say like
I don't
you
know.
get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it depends on who you get. That kid from Arizona, I like him, man. I don't want to say he's better than Grimes already because Grimes got a year in the league already. But if they would have came out the same time, yeah, he would have been picked before Grimes. Let's just say that
Right.
because he pretty much do everything, and he's like 6'7".
Yeah. So I mean, the draft the draft is coming. We can't just like skip the draft. The
Mm-hmm.
draft is coming. So whoever we draft is they're coming. It could be Johnny Davis. It could be any of these guys. These guys are coming on the roster. So
See,
then, how does that change the dynamic with how we run the roster?
I actually think we're not coming. I think we're going to trade that pick.
I hope he trade
I
it.
almost think we have to because regardless of the position, we're not going to draft a point guard at 11 because other than Ty Washington, he's like the only true point guard that you can get at that range.
Yeah.
So if we do draft him, he's not going to play at all. He will be in the G League all year.
Yeah.
So it's almost like not what's the point of drafting somebody like that. It just the pick has to be moved. Like we either need to package that pick and maybe Evan Fournier, Kimba with for somebody, maybe a real point guard. But yeah, you can't just pick somebody and think they're going to get burned on this team, especially not with Tibbs like coaching. It's not a single position that we would get that he would get burned unless maybe Mitch leave and we draft a center. And then how much you think Tibbs is going to play a rookie center if
Right.
Taj is still on the roster? As much as we don't want him to play, Tibbs don't care if we don't want Taj to play. Like Taj is going to play.
Jericho Simmons is already on the roster, and plus, if this guy Nerlens Noel was healthy, that motherfucker would be playing 48 minutes a game.
Exactly. Yeah, if Noel was healthy, Jericho Simmons would have been in the G League all year. He wouldn't have got no burn for the Knicks at all.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have played a second. I don't think if Kimba would have worked out, uh, Deuce wouldn't have played at all. Like the only reason these dudes got burned at all is because of injury or somebody had to go out. Grimes wasn't even getting burned until somebody like COVID happened, I think, and some people were out for a while. That was the only reason Grimes got burned. And he's obviously good, but Tibbs is going to play rookies like that. You got to be like outstanding, and none of those dudes are good enough to force him to play them.
Right. Even a kid like Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels, if you pick at 11, that's the guy I want. I try to trade up or try to see
Really?
if we get our hands on this kid.
See, but
Like I'm like,
I wouldn't consider Dyson Daniels a true point guard though.
yeah, me neither. But I mean, a lot of people do say that. Same thing with Jaden Ivey. They think Jaden Ivey's a point guard. He's not a point guard.
He's not a point guard either, but I would rather obviously have Daniels more than Jaden Ivey more than Daniels. But I like Daniels too, but he's more of a I don't know. He could play 1 through 3. He's just versatile.
Yeah.
But him playing the one for us would be like Burt's playing the one for us though. Like he's not a natural. point guard. He's not going to just break the defense down and dish it off to the open man like that. He just knows how to play the position, but he's not a natural point guard. No, at least I don't think so. At least not for what I've seen from him.
What do you think about this? The Grimes is the perfect six man of the championship team.
Currently, no, he could be though.
Yeah.
Currently,
I,
like obviously he needs a little more seasoning, but yeah, I think I like Grimes. Like I think he could actually start. It just depends on who's on the team. Like if Danny Green could start for a championship team, like on San Antonio or whatever, Grimes can do the same thing.
yeah, I think that's the projection for Grimes for me. Like say like a Green. I
Yeah,
think
he
that's
can
what
do that.
Grimes will do. And I agree with the statement. But when are we gonna get a starter? When do we make moves to get starters on this team? Because we got guys. Oh, that guy would be a good guy off the bench. Like quickly, people still saying quickly is a guy off the bench. So when do we like try to get a starter? Or how do we go about doing that?
Exactly.
Drafting all these guys that we're drafting. Are these guys are they so much better than Quentin Grimes, or are these guys going to be championship six man, people? How
Right.
does that work?
I don't know, man. When it comes to point guard, everything is tricky.
Yeah. And we got the wrong coach. We got the wrong coach for this whole thing because we can't be development. We brought on Tom Thibodeau in here to try to win today, with veterans and things of that nature, playing hard nosed defense and guys that already know how to play, not necessarily guys that we're trying to figure out, trying to develop them, trying to see what kind of player they're going to be, that type of thing.
Right. Let me see some people in the chat. Hold on. It says somebody say how is Daniels not a true point? Yeah, he's not. Like he plays different positions. Like he even grew up playing the point guard. Like I've seen Daniels a few times. Especially I've even watched some of his Australian stuff, his Australian tape before he got to the G League. He plays 1 through 3. He's not like when I say true point guard, it's not like he's I don't know. I would not compare him to like Ty Washington at all. I think he does a lot more. Like he's almost too versatile to be a true point guard. Like he can score, he can do pretty much everything. He might be the type of person that like he's just a guard with good vision. That doesn't necessarily think that doesn't necessarily mean he's a true point guard.
So what is a point guard though? See, like, do we really need a true point guard or just a pure scorer? You get what I'm saying? Pure scorer, true
I
point
get
guard.
that, but isn't that what everybody's been wanting though? Everybody's been saying we need a pure point guard. Like we got somebody that can score, and that's the case. Quickly could be that then.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on do you feel that quickly can play the point. I actually think he can. I don't think we like necessarily need a true point guard. It depends on how you play, especially when it comes to Tibbs. But I'm talking about what everybody's asking for,
Right.
or what everybody think, or like they assume what we're getting. Like that's the whole point of like Jalen Brunson.
Right.
Like because not only does he score, he actually can he actually finds people too. He's a point guard.
Yeah, man. That's what it comes down to, man. Styles too. Like Tom Thibodeau, how is he going to play certain guys?
See,
Whatever. Because I mean, we did have point guards. We got like 5 point guards on the roster. If you include Burks, we have 5 point guards. He didn't. He chose not to utilize the guys that we had on the roster.
that's the thing. See, we would be here for another hour. We go talk about Tibbs because both of us don't like him. Neither one of us
Yeah.
like Tibbs. That's why it's so hard to even go about the team moving forward. That's why I say, what direction do you want to be in? Because
Right.
neither one of us want Tibbs as our future coach, or
Right.
not even our present coach. Like after this, I think they give him one more year, and hopefully they move on. He could be like our bridge coach, and we'll be
Yeah.
ready to make a move and win.
Yeah, but I don't want it to be like the bridge is over, like freaking KRS-One stuff like you know what I'm saying, where the bridge is falling down. No, 'cause that's essentially what he's doing because I mean he's coaching a certain way, but the Knicks are building a different way. So
Right.
how do we know what we have if our coach is not utilizing our players in a certain way? Like quickly showed at the end of the year what kind of point guard he could be if he was to
Mm-hmm.
change the style of play. Obi Toppin as the guy, as the outlet guy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
quickly pushing the ball, whatever, still being able to find shooters and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you put Julius Randle in that mix, Julius Randle could easily be like a trailer in that
Right.
type
Right.
of
Right.
offense, and then you could utilize guys a lot better.
Right.
I could see say like what's the dude Cam Reddish on the wing, getting passes from quickly in that way in an up tempo offense. I could
Mm-hmm.
see RJ helping out in the half court,
Hmm.
It could work. But you need a coach to get that, that working.
That ain't happening though.
Yeah,
We already know Tibbs is not going to do that. And in terms of Daniels, I say he wasn't a true point guard, but that does not mean I did not want Daniels though.
yeah,
I actually like his game. He's actually good, man. He can play point. He's just not, you know. But the thing is, since Tibbs is on our team, he might be the perfect point just because of what Tibbs does. But
yeah,
we hate the way Tibbs plays, so I don't want to put that on him. But if we did draft Daniels at 11, I'm stoked. Like he's nice.
yeah. I don't know.
He'd be pretty good
Yeah,
because he
he's
can play
pretty good.
1 through 3, and he's versatile. He plays defense, pass, dribble, shoot. He's like 6'8" with like a 7 foot wingspan, so he can pretty much do anything.
Yeah. Tom Thibodeau's offense is dribble handoffs, move out the way, four guys on the side, one guy standing on the island.
Right. So in
Going one
terms
on.
of that, yeah, Daniels probably could be our starting point guard if that's all you got to do the
Right.
stuff that Burks do.
Yeah.
But do we want the stuff? Do we want that though? That's what I mean. It just depends on what you want.
Right.
Do you want us to play the same way with just replacing Daniels with Burks? How successful would that be?
Right. I don't know, man. It's aggravating. Here's something else aggravating. For every mock draft, to say every time somebody, even Tankathon, if you do the simulation, whatever, and the Knicks get the number one pick or the number two pick, they
Mm-hmm.
keep giving us Jabari Smith. And I think Bleacher Report recently they did today they put out a draft. If the Knicks was to get the top pick, they give us Jabari Smith. If we drafted Jabari Smith, I think I would give up
Over who though?
over everybody, over Holgram, over Panchero, over Jaden Ivey. They picking Jabari Smith over all those guys. What do you think about that?
We got one. So if we got one, we got everybody in the draft. It's us in the field.
Yeah, just us. We just got to pick a player. Nobody's in front of us.
Would I be mad at Jabari Smith? The only reason I'll be mad at Jabari Smith is because how the roster is constructed now, though. But if we did not have a multitude of power forwards, I can't be mad at Jabari Smith, man.
I don't know, man, about Jabari. Jabari to me, he looks like I can't even tell you what he looks like, man. He looks like Rashard. I want to say Rashard Lewis.
Lewis,
Yeah,
he play a little bigger than that, though.
I guess so. But he
I'm
looks like a piece of chewing gum. You know what I'm saying? The dude
to
looks
me,
smaller than the Obi Toppin.
I'm old, right? So you remember how Joe Smith used to look in
Yeah,
Maryland? To me, he almost looked like that, but with like a better outside game
yeah.
because he has a jumper, he can shoot, and he could dribble too. But I'm just
He's a
talking about the
smart.
way that he looked and how long he is. Like he kind of looked like that.
You think he has a dribble?
Yeah, he can dribble for his size. You got to think about it. I'm not saying like he's not, Allen Iverson out there. But he's 6'10".
Well, compare him to Obi. Who
He's
would you
better
rather
than
have?
Obi.
You think he's better than Obi?
Oh yeah, Jabari Smith would get minutes over Obi right now
Oh my god.
because
I
he'd
think
be
I
a
would.
better defender than Obi too,
That I agree with.
and he can actually shoot better.
Yeah, I agree
Obi
with
would
that too.
get Obi would get him obviously on athleticism. He's not gonna jump like it's gonna be very few people that's gonna reach the athletic,
So if we get the number
standpoint of
one pick
Obi.
somehow, through the grace of the basketball guys, we get the number one pick. How do we come into the draft and pick Jabari Smith, knowing that we got Julius on the roster still, and we
Yeah, that's
got
what I'm saying. It's
and
about
Obi's
roster
on the roster?
construction.
Right,
It don't make sense, but
right,
picking Obi didn't make sense either.
right.
Our
None
best
of this
player was a
shit
power
makes
forward.
sense.
Okay, so I'm about to say that we could. That's another thing that like picking Obi didn't make sense either. But
Right.
we did it because we think of the player. You pick the player and then worry about that later, unless you like the need and the player match so perfectly. Like say if it was a number one point guard available, people think it's Jay Ivey. Obviously, we had the number one pick. The natural pick should be Jay Ivey
Right.
if you have that vision of him being a point guard. But if you don't, I don't know. A lot of people like Chet. I like Chet.
Well, let me throw this out there. Jaden Ivey. Okay, let's say he's a shooting guard, right?
Mhm.
If Jaden Ivey comes in, and what happens to RJ? You put RJ at the three.
He already plays the three though. Remember, Fournier is the two, so it would be a natural position progression, I should say. Ivy would come off the bench at first, and ultimately he would take over for Evan Fournier. RJ would still be the three. But that where does that leave Cam? He would just be stuck on the bench
Right.
unless they move Julius and put Cam at the four or Obi at the four, obviously.
Shit.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it completely changes everything.
It
Like
all
no,
sounds like garbage to me.
like that's what I'm saying. Like none of the. That's what I'm saying. We have to like. I understand we have a draft pick, right? Nobody makes sense on this roster unless we have somebody like Daniels, somebody like that, somebody that's versatile that could play like multiple positions.
Yeah, this I agree with. Darius basically Jarius Smith. To me, he don't do it for me, man. This kid don't
Hey,
do it for
y'all
me.
really hate Smith. Y'all hate Jabari. Okay.
He might be a good player, man, but from what I see, I don't see like okay, not to be a highlight whore. If you look at the highlight for all top four picks,
Mm-hmm.
Jabari Smith's
The
highlight
least
is
impressive.
trash. Yes, compared to Banchero. Banchero looks like a guy you could just give him the ball and let him run
Right,
your
right,
team.
right.
Chet
So
Holmgren, he looks incredible too.
okay,
Uh,
so forget Jabari Smith for a second
right?
because they play the same position. We get Paolo. You happy?
Yeah.
Another power forward again.
Yeah, if we get Banchero, then we just gotta make it work. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
You
I
pick the
think
best player and then worry about the rest later.
yeah. At that point, you get Banchero. That I think that's your anchor. You want to talk about number one option? I think that kid could be a number one option. What do you think about Banchero?
I like him. I'm a North Carolina fan, so me saying something good for a Dookie, I like him. But I only could go so far just because of that.
Yeah,
Um,
he's
yeah,
got pro moves, man. He's strong as
he's
fuck.
good and he's strong. I actually think the reason Duke was losing because they didn't go to him enough,
Right.
especially against us. Like we had no business beating them twice. Like North Carolina beat them twice because they stopped going to power. They stopped going to him.
Right.
But if we picked him, I wouldn't be mad. I don't think I would be upset about anybody in the top four. You can't be because it's the top four.
Right.
But I don't know. Having Smith, having Jabari, yeah, he's not. I would pick Banchero over him.
What about Keegan Murray? What do you think about him? You ever seen Keegan Murray play for Iowa?
Yeah, I've seen him play a couple times. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I don't see it translating to the league like it does. His versatility playing the four and with a handle like that. I don't see that translation to the league like he killing like that. He seemed like the typical college player. But
So
Jabari Smith, he's almost Jabari Smith ish. Like I get what you mean.
yeah,
Hmm. I like Chet though. You like Chet?
Chet is good, man. Like he does stuff. He does stuff that he looks like he can't do.
Right.
That people try
Or
to
not what
body him.
he looks like. He does stuff it look like he shouldn't be able to do.
Right. And
That's why I
guys can't
like him.
body him. They try to body him every single time, and he takes
Hmm.
advantage of them every single time.
Like his frame, small as he is, he's going to put on some type of weight when he
Yeah.
gets older. The only thing with that is his health. Like if he can stay healthy, but so far he hasn't had any health issues.
Right.
So it's just banking on somebody that tall and that frail. You know, he don't seem like he hit the ground like Mitch hit the ground all the time,
Right.
or like Nerlens Noel, or a lot of other big men in the league.
But he moves with purpose too. A guy like Mitch don't move with no purpose. You get what I'm saying? That's why he's always freaking hurt because he doesn't move in such a way that like he knows what he's doing. He's just kind of I could do shit, but
Yeah,
not really doing nothing with any kind of like thought process with it. You know?
especially on offense because he doesn't have a purpose
Right.
other than like offensive rebounds and setting fake screens.
Yeah, I can't. I hate him, man. I don't hate him specifically as a person. I hate his game, bro. I
I
can't
know,
stand it.
I
The,
know,
the latest videos that I saw with him, he's shooting threes with some no name guy. Why are you
right?
shooting threes, fam? Like, when are you going to work on the inside game? Just a little bit, little layups or something. Just work on that.
What's crazy? You know what the terrible thing about the NBA is? Why is the draft before free agency?
I don't know. That's another thing too.
I don't understand it at all. It makes absolutely no sense.
What's all marketing because they want to get the next great player. Oh, let's put him on the new face of the league. They're trying to get that thing still.
Yeah, but like seem like when it comes to marketing, why not have free agency first so the rookies coming in will they actually know the type of spot they will have when they get into the league.
Yeah.
Like say if we do get the first pick. How do we pick Chet not knowing what we're doing with Mitch yet? But
Right.
that's just I guess that's from the outside looking in, because I guess if you are an organization at this point, you kind of do know what you're going to do with Mitch. We just don't know
Right.
because it's not time to let us know yet. Like there's no deadlines or anything yet. But
Well,
as a they kind of know if Mitch is leaving or not. They have to.
right. But it's like a distraction though. Like if you're a
Right.
GM and you're trying to build your roster and stuff like that, now we
Right.
got to do the draft. We got to do this draft first, and then like 2 weeks later, but now we got to sign guys. So it's
Right.
like it's kind of like a distraction. It takes you away from what you're trying to do,
Right.
and it puts deals on hold too. Because a lot of teams they'll draft for another team for a deal that's gonna be made later. That type of thing. So if free
Right.
agency was first, then they'll have all that sorted out. So when
Mm-hmm.
the draft does come, there won't be so many draft trades because those things would have been already taken care of in free agency.
Right. 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 But
You
that
know,
always bugged me out though, having to draft before free agency. It's weird, man. Football not like that. Football free agency is first, then the draft.
right?
I just
So yeah,
I was about to say it just never made sense. Like it's I never understood the logic behind it. Cause it seemed like you would want your roster not set, but you would want to know what your roster is going to be before the draft.
right,
Because you would know, like when your rookies come in, you know what you're drafting them for.
right.
Like say we did get the first pick, it would be a problem picking Chet if Mitch is still on the roster. He's obviously not going to sign with us then.
Right,
But I guess picking them, that's telling him is your choice. I guess.
right. It keeps the also too the draft picks not guessing. Like they kind of can figure out, okay, well, I'm probably these guys are probably going to draft me at
Right.
this
Right.
stage.
Right.
They can kind of look ahead too.
Exactly. Hmm.
So what I was gonna ask you is like the next star. I was talking about that. Like when LeBron was coming, we all knew that LeBron was gonna be the guy, and then now he's been the face of the league for 20 years, but there really hasn't been another guy. You want to talk about Durant, Harden, certain guys that you see out there, but it hasn't really been like that major guy, like the next Kobe or the next thing. Like that person hasn't shown their head yet. What do you think that would ever happen, or if it
Yeah.
never happens, like with the recent drafts coming up, like
Mm.
what do you think that's gonna do to the league?
I don't know. I think it'll happen, but I think just like the players that you named, they're just going to be generational. They're going to be few and far between. It's not going to happen every year.
Yeah,
Like the LeBron James has been in the year for what 20 years now, and hasn't been nobody like him since he's got drafted. So
right.
that polarizing, I mean, and especially in the social media era, like yeah, somebody can obviously definitely get popular enough to be that, but you just have to have the talent. And LeBron, Kobe, um, Mike, they're all generational type talents. Like you're not going to see, you're not supposed to see them often. That's how I think about it. Because if you do start seeing stuff like that often, then they're not really generational. Then they're just
Well,
good players.
say like LeBron when LeBron was drafted, they still had Tracy McGrady was doing his thing, 28 points a game for Tracy McGrady. Uh,
Mm.
Kevin Garnett was Kevin Garnett. Jason
Mm-hmm.
Kidd was there. They already had their players that were already big star players that they were already stars of the league without LeBron.
Right.
LeBron just came in and he just got into the mix of that. He eventually got better than them, but
Mm-hmm.
they all was sitting right there with him. All these
Right.
different
Right.
players.
Right.
Even like Ray Allen was nice. It's still nice at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Marbury and all these guys. He came up with all those guys. But all those guys that I mentioned, they all retired and their careers are over now. Now it's just LeBron. And then
Right.
oh yeah, but yeah, Durant's good too. Steph Curry, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of those three guys,
They're
Durant,
not
Harden,
Bron though. Yeah, they're not LeBron. I see what you mean.
yeah, there's like only four. Well, back in the days, you could say like maybe 20 guys were like sitting in the clouds with LeBron. That
Right.
nice. They were that nice. Iverson was still playing at the time. You still got
Right.
Melo who came
Right.
up with him. You get what I'm saying? All these different generational guys.
I mean, you got to think about the best players in the league now. Who would be those players? It would be like KD, obviously, Embiid, Jokic.
Right.
I think the NBA, it just looks different. That's
Yeah.
all. I think it just looks different. I think it's a little bit of the same. It just looks differently, and plus the way that we view it too.
Right. Yeah,
Like
I
we
think
got
so.
if we're because if we're gonna have to wait for another LeBron for that to happen, yeah, like I said before, he's generational. That's not gonna happen. Like he's rare, and the next person will be rare too. It could be somebody like who do I think is rare? I think
With Giannis, you think Giannis is up there with that?
yes, he's definitely rare, but I don't know. I don't want to say that we haven't seen. We've seen that before though.
Right.
When it
Even the
comes
guy
to
on the Boston, what's his name?
Tatum,
Yeah, Tatum. Tatum is nice too, but Tatum is
nice.
just like, yeah,
Like you could compare him to McGrady or somebody like that. Like
yeah,
we've
or Alex
seen,
English, that type of thing.
right? We've seen that before.
Right.
So when you tend to somebody that we haven't seen before, like that's rare. I don't know anybody like that coming up.
Yeah. Even guys like say like Minnesota, like this guy Karl Anthony Towns, he got the numbers, but he's trash. We don't think of him as like a star player, but he got the numbers to say so.
Yeah,
Even Anthony Davis,
hmm
dominant numbers, but he's like not that guy.
right.
You know?
That's all talent. Like they don't have like what's in here. They don't have the killer in them like that.
Yeah, they don't even have the star power. Like I don't want to see them outside of if I ever tune into a game when they're playing the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? I
Really?
don't want to see them in like a deodorant commercial or selling Gatorade and shit like that. You know
Now
what
I
I'm saying?
gotta
Like,
think. Now I gotta think about it. Not Anthony. Well, they both have commercials, and Carl Anthony Towns actually can do stuff like that though.
what's he gonna
Act,
sell though?
no,
Coquito? That's it.
not the Coquito. Yeah, you wild, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he ain't gonna sell me no Nikes. Like, oh, I think
Yo,
it's Anthony Towns.
that was the perfect blend of like funny and racist. That's why it was so funny. Like I said, Coquito. But yeah, Carl Anthony Towns, like, I think he has the natural personality to sell stuff, though. Like, he went to school for, like, broadcasting and stuff. You remember when he was little and had the mic in his hand and stuff like that? Like, he has the personality to do stuff like that. We
Yeah,
just don't like him because he's soft. That's the only reason we don't like him, yo. He's
he's a
talented as
geek though.
hell.
He's a
He,
geek.
he's a what?
He's a like a geek.
Right. He is square. That's what I'm saying. He's
Yeah,
soft. He's just a talented.
not even a square. He just like he's just a goofball. He's a goof troop.
So he's like, you think of him like you thought of Dwight Howard. Because that's what everybody thought of Dwight. Like he was a clown. He was a goofy.
Yeah, but
Obviously
but
talented out the wazoo, like multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards and stuff like that. But we didn't care about
he
him because he
also
was goofy.
but he peaked early too. In Orlando, he was already winning with that team. They went to the finals and everything in his early years in Orlando. So
Right.
he kind of like peaked. He actually was like, like the people thought he was gonna like Superman. They were saying that he was, gonna be that guy. But then once he left Orlando, that's when he started becoming like, Kobe kind of did that to him too. And everybody saw how Kobe treated him. So
Right. Right. Right.
I think Kobe might have dragged him down too.
You know what? The only thing I hate about Dwight though, or I hate when people talk about Dwight, he did all of that with no moves though.
Right.
He did all that winning. He had all that production on defense and offense. Like he scored. Think about how Mitch does us, right?
Right.
Compare him to Dwight Howard on offense, and Dwight don't got moves either.
He
No
got more
jump
moves than
shot.
Mitch though. Mitch is trash, man. Fuck,
But that's what
fuck
I'm saying.
Mitch, man.
Like Dwight didn't have no jumper.
Yeah.
His foul shots wasn't all that. He didn't have no down low game, but he still scored. I guess because he had a point guard, Jameer Nelson, so they actually got him the ball in like position to score, like with lobs and dunks like that, and got him open. But
He had like basic shit like drop steps. He had a hook. What I'm saying? People didn't want to have
yeah,
no business with once he put that ball on the floor and turn.
right,
Nobody wanted to be no parts
yeah,
of
he's
that.
big. He's big. The shoulders is huge.
Yeah.
Mitch ain't got that.
But another thing with Dwight is that I didn't realize he was 6'9" until like maybe like 3 years ago when
Right,
they got up with the Lakers the second time. I
right.
thought he was 7 foot this whole time.
Because his arms are so long, man. He just looked taller than what he is. He was like Ben Wallace size.
Right, 6'9". That shit is crazy.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people realize how small Alonzo Mourning was to Shaq until they like played against each other. Because
Yeah,
when they came out of college and stuff, they was like them two and Christian Laettner was like the big men of the future.
right.
If you look at Alonzo Mourning compared to Shaq, he looked little as hell. He looked like a small forward.
Yeah, that's why Ewing used to bust his ass all the time
Yeah,
because he was just shooting over that motherfucker. He wasn't shit
right.
to Ewing.
And Shaq used to kill him all the time too.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck Alonzo Mourning too, by the way. this, this is a general principle, you know
Where
what I'm
that
saying?
come from, fam? Where that come from? Like where you get that?
He might be a nice guy in real life and stuff, but man, Just fuck him off of GP.
Ah man, fuck him off GP, man. Anybody in the Miami's jersey, pretty much. I guess in that era. I used to like Tim Hardaway though. I ain't gonna lie.
I respect Tim Hardaway
I
definitely, man.
liked him before he got to Miami. That's why though.
Yeah, but
Golden
then
State
also
and
to
stuff.
somebody that could talk all that shit that we was talking, we was trying to hurt him, and he was still coming down the court talking, throwing daggers down our throats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Never back down. So
Had to respect him.
yeah, definitely respect him. Absolutely.
And he's 5'11".
Right.
5'11" and not even that fast, but he still killed us. Like he killed everybody, man. Tim Hardaway was the man.
Yeah, he was nice. I don't know. All
Yeah,
right, man.
man.
So we got through what, an hour and a half without Mr. Leo.
Hey, yo, Lee, we don't even need you no more, bro. What's happening?
We're gonna trade him for what, like second round picks in the 2023 draft.
We gonna trade Lee and the 11th pick for a point guard. I'm gonna go on Twitter right now. Lee, we traded you, bro.
Uh,
Lee got traded for a point guard. We traded you to Dallas. You gotta be a Mavericks fan now. You and the 11th pick going to Dallas, and we getting Jalen Brunson on the sign trade.
that's fucked up.
It's fucked up, yeah. Ain't gonna do that to Lee. That's my guy.
Yeah,
We're not trading you, Lee. Salute to Lee.
yeah, Lee is dope, man. We'll probably see Lee next time, next Monday. You know?
Yeah, man, you just couldn't make it, man. Work getting away, man. We all
Yeah,
got families and stuff.
yeah. This guy wants to be a stand-up comedian. You know, I got to see his show too. He's been inviting me for God knows how long too.
Yep. I saw one of his clips, man. I retweeted it, yo. Lee's pretty funny, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's busy too, man. So support. I mean, if you guys know Lee Valentine, look up Lee Valentine. Look up his stand-up. He's basically got gigs all over the schedule, man, all over the month during the week and stuff. So check him out if you can, man. I'm gonna try to do my best to get out there. He likes to attack the crowd too, man. So
See,
if I
I
show up,
want
I'm
him to
afraid to
come.
let him know I'm there because I don't want to be like, oh, look at this fucking big head
Man,
motherfucker right here.
see, I'm in PA, so I gotta see if Lee gonna be in Philly anytime soon, man. That'd be dope, man. I'll actually go.
Okay.
Me and wifey actually going to a comedy show. I think in June. You heard of the Roots Picnic?
Yeah.
Right. So that's in Philly every year. So I think this year is like the first weekend of June, and Black Thought is actually hosting a comedy show the day before the picnic. So that Friday, on the 3rd, I think.
So
Yeah,
that's how
that
you know we old too. We're planning shit months
have
in
to,
advance and shit.
have to, or I'm not going. I'm not
Probably
going.
got the
Ain't
outfit.
no,
Probably got
ain't
your
got,
outfit ready and all that.
almost like I already got the kick somewhere, and these Jordans I ain't worn in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how we do, man. Like we're old. Like we had a conversation earlier about going to the club. That's not happening no more, bro.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. The clubs is done.
It's over, man. It's over for the clubs, man. It's over for the streets.
Unless you're that girl that Drake was sliding her DMs and
She's for the streets.
yeah.
She definitely for the streets because she allowed all of that. Like she was chilling. She liked it. She liked the attention.
Right. So that's like the moral of the whole podcast, man. We got to bridge that gap. We got to teach the young guys what we know, so these young guys don't be out here looking crazy.
Exactly. Because you got your wife up there giggling because Drake DM'd her, yo. You
Yeah,
too
but
old
then
for
he
that.
screenshotted and then putting out there for everyone to see. Like
Right.
you
He
know,
relished in it. He loved it. Ha ha. A whole bunch of smiley faces. Laughing emojis. That's not funny. At least not to me.
all right, Mr. Drill, man. Let's wrap this up, man. Thanks for coming in here on a Monday, 7 o'clock. We're gonna try to keep this consistent.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
try to keep this consistent. I mean, also too, there might be something else brewing with that too, man. Maybe we can get you and Lee to do a straight football podcast.
See, I
You
was
two
thinking
guys.
that too, but see, Lee, his schedule crazy, and I refuse to talk about the Jets without him. So whatever I do is going to be Giants only, and then maybe Lee could come on and sprinkle in some green in there for the Jets. I'm not
Right.
talking about the Jets with Lee not on there, bro. I'm sorry, can't do it.
Well, everybody look out for it, man, because I like listening to you guys when you guys are going back and forth saying all these white man's name that I never heard of in my life. You know what I'm saying? You guys are really into that football. So
One thing about football, you're going to hear a lot of old white man's names you never heard of
yeah,
because they're all the coaches and the owners.
right. The good
Yep.
old boys.
Of course, it's good old boys league, man. That's just how it is. Don't get me wrong. The NBA is like that too. They just allow us to do more, but that's another podcast all of itself.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. All right, Mr. Drill, man. Shout out to your other podcast too before we get out of here.
I got a hip hop podcast called Bars and Shots. We actually on live every Sunday at 1 o'clock, man. Bars, BARZ, the letter N, shots, SHOTZ. We're live every Sunday at 1 o'clock. We've been doing it for about 2 years now. We got a nice little following, man. We get pretty good.
Yeah, that's how I found that. Well, I found you up before that, but I realized you
Hmm.
had a podcast, and
Right.
I like you guys from from the first time I heard you guys.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you guys really get into a lot of different subjects and stuff, man. So it's
We
interesting.
we usually actually have four hosts on the show, but for the past couple of weeks, it's just been two of us. It's just been me and Flaw been doing the show. So not last episode, the episode before that, it was just us two just talking pretty much about hip hop for like 2 hours. Hip hop, and we get into a lot of quote unquote man and family stuff too, because we're all around the same age, go through the same problems and stuff like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hold on before we move real quick. Shout out this Ty- Tyrus Jones. What do you think about? See, this is another Dookie, so it's going to be hard for me to talk about, such players. I don't want Tyrus Jones. You want Tyrus Jones?
I don't know. I put him on the thumbnail too. I forgot all about that. Tyrus
Mm,
Jones. He's a backup. He's another backup. So how many backups do we need on
exactly.
this team?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a bad player because I don't think he's a bad player. But if we bring him in as our starting point guard, what is the point? Like, I can't. If I do that with quickly on the team still, to me, it's just showing. If they do that, that's just telling me that they do not think quickly's a point guard. Period. And he would
But,
never have a point guard shot if you're going to bring in Tyrus Jones.
but how does Tyrus Jones fit this if they got Julius Randle running into three defenders and having the point guard
Yeah.
standing on the side?
See, as long as Tibbs is out, our head coach, then I can't answer that, bro. Like, it don't matter who we get in then. Like,
That's
Allen Iverson can come back and Tibbs will have him in the corner just chilling.
right. I feel like that's like the answer to everything that you could possibly say about the Knicks, man. You just
Right?
Tom Thibodeau's the coach, man. So whatever fly shit you got to say, Tom Thibodeau's the coach. That's it.
That's the only thing. Like, when I be listening to you and State or I be listening to NBK and stuff, a lot of people like have arguments about what the roster is going to be and how we're going to move going forward. None of us know anything as long as Tibbs is the head coach.
Right,
He is not going to change. All the stuff, everything that we want to do is predicated on how we actually play the game.
right.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, say if Jalen Brunson comes in, if he does the exact same, if we play the exact same way, Jalen Brunson's not going to have the ball in his hand because Julius Randle is going to have the ball in his hand.
Yeah, just look at Kemba Walker. Whatever Kemba Walker was doing for us, that's what Brunson's going to
Right.
do for us.
I re-
Isolated on the corner with the ball not in his hand.
I remember being in like watching fourth quarters. Quickly is taking the ball out. He's inbounding the ball to Julius Randle, and Julius Randle is the one walking the ball up the court during the
Right.
fourth quarter. As long as stuff like that is happening, it don't matter what the hell we do. Tibbs is still going to be the coach, and we're not going to win games. Period.
Yeah. I think it would be a catastrophe. Let's say if Tibbs comes in and we play the exact same way, and then we like fire him within the first month of the season, because then now
Right,
you kind of like you screw us,
right.
you know.
Because
On
we kind of got the roster to fit him, but then let him go during the
Yeah,
season.
you talking about confidence too. You fucking screw everybody's confidence because you went through training camp with the dude and everything, and then you get rid of him after a month. So but at the same time, if you think about what's the dude from Atlanta that's the coach for him now, McMillan.
Millen, yeah,
McMillan
Nate.
took over for his coach, and then they end up, you
That's
know,
different though, because Nate McMillan was like a former good head coach that
right,
lost his job. Like, he's been coaching the league for like the past 20 years.
yeah,
The person that's gonna take over for us maybe like Johnny Bryant.
who's
And
never
as much as
coached,
we like Johnny Bryant, we do not know Johnny Bryant how he's gonna coach it, if he can coach an NBA team to anything.
right,
We just like him, and he's not Tibbs.
right,
That's the only thing not the only thing we like about him, but that's his selling point. He's not Tibbs.
right.
Because deep down inside, I don't know what Johnny Bryan is going to do to this team if he have the rings for it. He might play the same way as Tibbs, or might even play worse. He might. I don't know his like what his offense is going to look like.
Right. And if his offense is running, more than likely it's going to be totally different than what Tom Thibodeau's doing. At least like I said, I don't know that. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
yeah. I'm
Yeah, I'm assuming.
assuming. But what
Yeah,
if it's not?
right,
You're not going to want Johnny Bryan either. Like, you're not going to want him either.
right. So that's a big quagmire. It's like a black hole, the black hole of
Right.
being a Knicks fan.
And as long as Tibbs is the center of everything, it almost doesn't matter what the moves are if we're going to play the same way, to me.
Yeah.
No, we'll see.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man, we'll see, man. We're going to have to. Draft coming up. You having a draft show soon?
Well, Sim is doing a draft show. He's doing
Oh,
that
okay.
that whole Atlantic City thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, I ain't going. Yeah, I
So,
ain't going.
I
Like,
think I
salute,
think I might
salute to
go.
them. Salute everybody that's going. There's too many people, yo. I'm not doing it.
If I go, it'll be me and State together. But State got to go back home. So if he comes with me, me and him just gonna be Thelma and Louise, just driving up and down 95.
Oh nah, see, yeah, it's like you're gonna have to take a couple days off because people are like staying over and stuff. Like it ain't you're not driving to Atlantic City and then driving back, are you? Not the same night. Hell no.
Nah, I don't think that's happening either. I'm too old for that shit.
Because that's far for me. I know that's far as hell for y'all if y'all in New York, right? No, that's like a couple hours,
Yeah,
three
two.
hours,
Yeah, like, it's just about three, like 2.5 hours.
right? Because it's like an hour and a half maybe for me, a little over an hour. And
Yeah,
I'm near Philly, so nah, you'll have to not have to, but it would behoove you to stay the night. Are you crazy?
we'll see, man. But the way when my marriage is set up, I don't know if I could spend the night out
Oh
there
man,
without her.
I'm like, man, we having this, me and the guys are having this sleepover at, a hotel.
Sleepover.
We're gonna watch the draft.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna be down with that shit.
Hey man, tell her, yeah, I'm where I'm at. Show her the YouTube channel. We gonna be on Sim Show. She can see you on there. You having a good time with her and the kids at home.
Yeah, I got a story to tell you but I don't want to say it online. You know
Nah,
what I'm saying? But
wait till we
I
get
say
off.
it.
Wait till we get off.
Yeah, because something already happened once already, man. So
See,
I gotta
nah,
like,
nah, nah. See, remember I told you I listen to older dudes. Don't do it.
yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
good? You good? Talk to me after the live is over.
All right, then, man. Let's wrap it up then. So I'll catch you guys again with Jarrell next Monday, and I think tonight me and State are going on at 9:30. So
Wildin'. See, wildin'. See you. I don't even know what to say to that. See, y'all crazy. I'm chilling. I'm about to go get something to eat and watch something.
yeah,
But I might fuck around and watch y'all though. That's pretty. I'm talking all that shit. I'm gonna be in the chat,
yeah,
chilling.
yeah, definitely, man. All right, Mr. Jarrell, we out of here, bro.
Peace.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next week. Oh, at 9:30. See you at 9:30. All right, peace.